Welcome to this podcast called Unveiling Her Story, Conversations with a Goddess. I am your host, Julia, and I'm a visionary, mom, wife, mentor, tantrika, truth seeker, creator of more than 5 million euros in sales, and owner of this amazing coaching business since 2017. With my brand, Julia Spiritual Living and Luxury Goddess, and this podcast, I support you in exploring your womanhood, your femininity, your real feminine force, in a way that leads you to becoming who you came here to be, to fulfill your soul's purpose, be a sovereign human being, and become free, alive, and blissed out. In this podcast, we're going to poke this matrix and dismantle history to shine light on her story, our story, to explore union and peace inside and out. How else will we operate beyond what we are told and build our reality anew, the feminine way? Let's peek behind the curtain and play beyond this matrix to find out how freaking exciting it is to co-create your reality as the powerful woman you came here to be. Welcome to a new episode on Unveiling Her Story, Conversations with a Goddess. We are still in the very beginning of this podcast. So with this episode, I want to give you an idea of who I am and just, give you the opportunity to get to know me so that if you're interested to know more, you are able to do so. And so I'm going to start now and dive right into the topic. So, who am I? My name is Julia. I am from Germany. I was born in Berlin, and we moved to a small town an hour away from Berlin when I was 8 years old, when my sister was born. And then after I did my A-level there, and also already went to the US for a high school year where my accent may come from, because I spent 10 months in the US and it actually is still there from back then. I then moved to another town in Germany to study, and then I basically spent all the time abroad. So I studied in Barcelona inside my university study time. And then I came back to Germany, and with my now husband, we've been together for 14 years now. Wow, 14 years. We traveled to South America for 4 months. We then came back and we moved to the north of Germany, to the Baltic Sea, because this way we lived by the sea. And we did go to the sea often, and there was beautiful, and there is still beautiful forests, and so we had a beautiful time there. And then I got pregnant when I was 24. It wasn't planned, but it sure was, a decision to decide we really wanted to have our son, and so we did. And so I became a mother with 25 years old, and then I had studied, what I studied was media culture, media, entrepreneurship, everything around media. And I wanted to do my master. I did my bachelor and I wanted to do my master, but I didn't apply right. It was already like a big universe thing for me. Just like when I went to the US back then, I got a scholarship, a full scholarship to go. So that was already a sign from the universe, right? Let's go. And then this also was a sign from the universe. I wanted to apply. I applied via mail, but I didn't apply via email. And that was necessary so that it counted as an application. And because I didn't apply online back then, it didn't work. And so I stood there and was like, what? I would have to wait until next semester to apply. Like, what now? And interestingly, in exactly that time, I became pregnant, or how do you say, I got pregnant. And so it was such a sign, because then I really looked into what I really wanted to do, because studying for me was just a logical step. It was, of course, you study, right? That's what you learn. You do your A level, you study, like you want to have a good job. But really what I always wanted to do and what I always did was acting. I acted for TV since I was 9 years old. I started dancing when I was 4 years old. I started teaching dance actually when I was 16 years old. I had a hip hop group and we did that. And when I went to the US, I actually went to a performing arts school and majored in dance. And so I was always all about, dance, acting, singing. And I actually have been freeing my voice now with an amazing opera singer that lives close to me here in Costa Rica, where I live. And so I've been going once or twice a week, a few times actually, like for some time, even 3 times a week. And I've been really freeing my voice, and I've been learning to really use this powerful voice that I have and to sing in this way. So I'm going to share quite a few songs with you on Instagram and TikTok. I'm really excited for that as well. And just play and just have fun with, especially expressing creatively, right? Because it's such a feminine way to be. And so anyway, that's a little bit about my past. And then we had our son. We lived, we continued living in the north of Germany by the sea. And then when he had to go to school in 2021, when he turned 6, we have the law in Germany that you have to send your kid to school. You don't have a choice. And 2021 was already COVID time, so we were like, absolutely no way we're sending him to school. That's not what we want him to learn, masks and everything that was going on at that time. And so we said, you know what? We always had the dream to emigrate. We always had the dream to live in another country, and we already loved traveling together. We both love traveling. So we said, you know what? Let's emigrate. And so one thing led to another, and it became super clear that it's going to be Costa Rica. It was just really super guided, very aligned, divinely guided, that it was going to be Costa Rica. And with each new information about Costa Rica, it just affirmed that we wanted to go there. For example, it's tax-free with a firm that has their customers outside of Costa Rica. And I do, right? I have my customers in Germany, or, maybe wherever. You'll be in the word when I have English offers. But just, all these signs confirming, oh my gosh, like that's a bonus. So we decided to go, and we did that. And in like 3 months or something, we sold everything or gifted everything and went to Costa Rica mid 2021. And then actually like the next layer of awakening began, because for me, the first layer of awakening, I thought began like when I met my husband, which of course kind of happened, because then I got to see where the dynamics in my family are still very entangled. And for the first time, I reflected on that, because he became another, position of dynamics, right? And relationship. And so I began to really look at, interesting, like what should I maybe reflect, or what do I maybe not feel good? But I couldn't even feel it, because I never felt how it could be differently. And I did definitely feel like I was spiritually awakening, but I'd rather say that I was very much bypassing and very much feeling like I'm enlightened. And I was very hard on myself back then, because I felt so worthless. That was just my pattern. And so I just, had this phase that most people have in their spiritual awakening at first, where it's like, well, I know all the things about manifestation. Why am I not living this way? Well, I know all the things about healing. Why am I not healed? And just being mean to myself, really, and just expecting a lot from me, just bypassing a lot of feelings. So I thought I was, spiritually awakening, but I really wasn't. And the first spiritual awakening that I had was becoming a mother. And I had a beautiful home birth with my son in 2015 when he was born, at home, obviously, with my husband, and just an amazing, amazing midwife that I just appreciate so much. And it was just a beautiful experience, an empowering experience. And I remember when when we had the birth, it was going for 8 hours. It was very clear in the morning that these are the contractions, and we're now going. And then he was born 5:15. In Germany, we say 5:17. Sorry, he was born 17 p.m. 5 p.m. And so it was just a beautiful experience. And after that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do everything. Like, I just did this, I can do anything. And it reminded me of another time when I said that, which was back in 2011 or 13. I don't remember. I always mix them up, the dates. But when we were in South America, we're climbing high mountains, and it was really hard to breathe, and we were walking for hours, and we did not have a lot of food, and I was just like, okay, I can do this. And when we climbed the mountain and we were actually on the top layer of the trail, I just started crying. I was so proud of myself, and it was such a release. And when I birthed Milan, our son, I had to think of that moment. I was like, I climbed that mountain back then, and I gave birth to Milan. I can do anything. Like, these two things for me were like, okay, I'm so strong, I can do anything. And for me, actually becoming a mother, especially giving birth and doing this home birth, that was really an initiation into my feminine force. It was the first time that I felt so strong and so guided by her, by the great goddess. It was just divinely guided, like how the hormones kicked in, how I felt less and less pain because the hormones kick in this way, right? So that it's all like nature takes care of you. And so it was beautiful. The way I felt kind of high and just in trance. It was an amazing experience. And just to feel like, oh my gosh, like, you just got to surrender. You just got to trust. Like, you're so taken care of when you give birth. Like, she's got your back, right? Mother Nature has got your back. And so it's just this beautiful initiation for me into feminine force, especially because anything else that I had tried up until this point was rather out of my OCD and control freakish, automatic fawning, people-pleasing behavior. So I never had experienced anything like that. And up until this point, I had very much a still, I don't even know how to say it, like, such suppression around my sexual energy and femininity. I had menstrual pain. I did not want to have sex. I did not feel any sort of lust or wanting to like turn on. I even felt pain during sex. I really didn't want to do it. So for me, it was just this the suppressed energy, like I'm not worthy, but I have to do it, and I don't like it, and just so turned off, and just forgotten how this is supposed to be and how this can be. And so up until this point, I had no point of reference for real feminine force, real sexual energy. So the birth was just such an initiation. And it also was such an awakening, because it pushed us right into our family patterns, and where I was becoming the mom that I perceived, the collective represents, and obviously that's how you do it, right? And my husband as well went into the father figure that he knew, and so we were just in such a intense dynamic, which went so, like, it was just so intense. The first year of motherhood, it's just, I lost myself completely. And out of that really rock bottom moment, derived the idea of, I really got to change something. And I found, through that time, I found limiting beliefs, and found, oh my gosh, like, it's not just who I am. Like, it's not just I am this way and I can't change it. No, it's limiting beliefs. It's beliefs like, I can change this. Whoa. And, they derive from this and that, like, whoa. And there's such thing as, reprogramming. Whoa. Changing. Like, I was, whoa, this was all new. It's when I also found theta healing and learned, and actually also did the base and the advanced, so the first two of theta healing, so I can do theta healing. Did a lot of it, love it, still use it. And yeah, I also found Tantra in that time because, I also found Tantra already before that, but I could not really work with it yet because I was so suppressed and so stuck in my patterns of people pleasing and fawning. I wouldn't know how to use it. I tried a bit, but back then I was just still so traumatized that I couldn't, it's not the first step. The first step would be trauma integration, learning about the nervous system. And I didn't back then. I didn't know. I didn't understand. I didn't know about this. And so I already knew about Tantra, right? Quite early in our relationship. So 2011, 12, something like that. But I didn't know how to use it well yet and how it could really help me and guide me like it does today. And so the first thing it actually helped me with that healing. And then after that, because that helped me so much, Tantra, the path of Tantra, and learning about everything that, we've kind of forgotten, or the lost wisdoms of our body and our anatomy and our cycles. And that's where I started this work too, and sharing about my journey on YouTube back in 2017, where I started my signature program in German, in my German repertoire, in the German language too, Awaken the Goddess Within, and my signature work. And so, yeah, that was just wild, actually, thinking back. So that's a little bit of my way. And then we emigrated in 2021. And ever since then, we've lived here in Costa Rica. We've found a beautiful, beautiful place, a mountain jungle where it pretty much is like I would want to build a community. Like, people have their houses open, and there's a group where it's all about, this is my offer, who needs this, who needs help, who has this. Like, it's just a beautiful community. Kids can, walk to their school. There's a public school, but there's also a free Waldorf school where our son is going to. They have maximum 6 kids, and it's just the most amazing thing. And we actually just take the ADV for like 5 minutes, and then we walk over 2 bridges over the river, and then I bring him to school. It's just beautiful. We live by this beautiful cold plunge river with these big rocks of Mama Earth. We have this spring water that we drink. We have clear air. We have the blue sky every day. We have beautiful weather. It's just, I just love it so much. It's so nourishing and rejuvenating, especially for me, as a manifestor, in human design. It's just, as a non-energy type, it's just so great to live here and to be able to be that secluded and that much in my own energy, and just feeling myself, to really have these downloads come through, and really live my design the way it's just so natural for me, just honoring my design and living so close to it in this way in nature, and just so much with myself. And as much as I'm online and do my podcast and Instagram and all the things, you would think I love being in community all the time. But actually, I love being alone and being in my own energy and tending to my urges and rest phases. And yeah, just I'm not so social because I don't really like a lot of people, like maybe this kind of feeling, meeting people and being like, I'm done with the conversation already. Bye, take care. I'm so big on, I call this, for the past weeks, I've been calling this energy hygiene. So energy hygiene is just so big for me. Like, how much does the person that I'm talking to value time, value energy? How clean are they in their energy right now, and in the way they're talking to me, and in their emotional energy? And if I feel any kind of off feeling, I'm out, then I just want to be with myself and source energy and just bathe in that, but not be with people who could just drain me. Not in a bad way. Like, I know how to have boundaries and everything, but yeah, I don't know. If you know human design, and especially if you are a non-energy type, if you are a projector, a manifestor, or a reflector, you just know this feeling where it just really takes energy from you, and you only have that much, so you want to be so mindful. And it's not about lack; it's about honoring your energy and where you put it. So I love being in community, but just with the people that have the same standards as I do, the same values, the same knowledge or interest in learning about conflictability and communication and energy, so that we just have the best interactions, and it just really makes sense that we interact, So yeah, I love being in community, but really with my tribe, with my people. Like if we have retreats in Germany, or anywhere in the world, really, where we come together as a community, in my community, I love it. Love people, love, love, love. We could be together 24/7. We actually are. But then, if I come back here and just meeting random people, I'm like, nah, just rather be doing my sports and doing my face massages and going to the river and sunbathing and singing and recording things for you and being alive with you guys. Like, that's just amazing. And then, of course, I have my husband and my son and our cat to spend time with. And I love that, of course, as well. So, yes, that's a little bit about me. And I already started talking about that. So let's say more about that. If you know human design and or astrology, I am a Virgo in sun, the Gemini in the moon, and the Sagittarius rising. So people know me this way, and I know myself this way as well. Very much adventurous and trying out things. Always willing to see where things lead and try out everything in new ways, which to me translates to the 3 line in human design. And then we have the 5 line in the back. So I'm a 3/5, a manifestor, which means I'm here to innovate, to bring the big visions, to inform people about that, to be so willing to, have people misunderstand me, and especially paired with a 5 line and my incarnation cross, which is right angle cross of rulership. It's like 3 different points of letting me know I'm here to lead. I'm here to guide people. I'm here to not give a fuck if people don't like it. Like that, literally, I have to learn that. As a manifestor, I have this kind of aura that is intriguing, but also repelling. As a 5 line as well, like people just project onto me and they see my big aura, like the way I come in with big energy, and they love it, they hate it, like they put on stuff on me. It's kind of special because manifestors are special in this way. Of course, every freaking one is special, of course, right? I don't think I'm special, but the manifestor energy is just so different to the other types that it always does stand out. And so I just really had to learn. Especially coming from the background of people pleasing and fawning. I just, honestly, when I look back before the birth of my son, it's just the reference point that I have, right? I just honestly feel like I was half dead back then, honestly, because most of the decisions I didn't make from, what do I want? Like, what are my needs? Who am I? Like, I didn't know about these things. So it was all based on, how do I think the other person wants me? Like, what should I do? Or just the immediate response that is just out of like reactiveness, right? So it was just new for me to really adapt to, okay, big energy and manifestor, and okay, let's let people project the villain onto me. It's fine. Like, let me be neutral about that. Like, I really had to learn. And that actually was my second awakening. I started sharing that in the beginning, that the birth of our son was my first awakening, like real spiritual awakening, like earthly awakening. And so the second one definitely was the immigration, because with that, taken everything away and stripped of everything that was solid and that I kind of had to could hide into, right? You just live your life, you just do everything as usual, but then you shake it all up, you let go of everything, you emigrate, you have these challenges that come up. I just confronted with everything. And this from big changes, right? Any kind of breakups or new relationships or moving or immigration or starting a business or becoming a mom. Like, all of these huge changes bring about these spiritual awakenings, because you're kind of like tickling the matrix and also changing your reality. And so it always crumbles. There is no other way. Of course it crumbles if you change it. And so it's, it was just the biggest gift too. But that was a time where I was just crying and crying and crying in the end of 2021. Just so much release. I was learning about trauma for the first time ever, and understanding that my husband and I definitely for the longest time were in a codependency, and that we were just trauma bonding. And I really had to learn, like, okay, we're learning now that this could be easy and love could be nice and cool and like a good thing and just fun. All right, well, the limiting belief is love is hard and life is hard. So, okay, let's relearn, let's reprogram, let's understand anew how this could be a fun journey, right? Because we want to choose a new timeline here. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. And then another thing was that I made more and more money. On my journey, I actually doubled not only my income in sales, but also the actual money that's left over after whatever you have as expenses. So I just doubled and doubled. And in 2022, I made 2 million tax-free euros. And I went so much into the pattern of savior and not wanting to be the villain that reflected in how I went about with my money, which was super interesting and also such a journey for me to go through and learn. And 2022 and 23, actually kind of half of both years, were my years and my month of integrating trauma bonding, really cleaning up my whole life. And to me, it's not healing, it's cleaning up, it's actual earthly work, It's not like, oh, you sit and meditate. No, you learn conflictability, you have the hard conversations, you learn boundaries, you communicate them clearly. It's earthly stuff. It's not at all any form of avoidance or bypassing or, well, whatever, I'm just going to meditate. No, none of that. It's very, very earthly and super important to me, honestly, in my opinion, to be a sovereign leader and to really change something on this earth, especially to bring femininity back on earth, which is my vision, right? And really what I'm here for. So it was just such an important time. And I made so much less in my firm. In 2023, I made I don't know exactly the numbers, but something like 600,000 or 700,000 euros. So much less, right? And before that, I always doubled income and actual cash received. But yeah, it was important too. I didn't know yet how to make more money without being in a trauma bond or without saving people or without how I did it before, without running, whatever. And so it's amazing, of course, and I'm so grateful for how much I made, but yet it was interesting to see the correlation. And I'm so grateful for that time because I got so strong in my base. I cleaned up my life. I cleaned up so many contacts or interactions that I had that weren't good for me and that, of course, I was feeding as well. Of course, right? I'm never a victim. No one is. And so we're all really bringing each other home and reminding each other of how we want things and how not. And it's all learning and experiences, right? So whoever I was kind of interacting with and who was showing me trauma bonds still and who I interacted with in trauma bonds really brought me to that topic and how to heal it, how to integrate it. And I'm really grateful for all of it, even though some of it was super intense. I also, for the first time in my life ever in 2022, had a business mentor, which I did interact with in a trauma bond way. But, I see it in such a self-responsibility, personal power way. Yes, that was what was happening for me, but it was the biggest gift for me to learn and integrate this, right? It's that. I feel I thought I was paying for a business mentor who was saying you can definitely make more with a person. And I thought that was my goal, but it wasn't. I worked with this person to learn about where I was still trauma bonding and how to change it. And that's actually a greater gift than just making more money. I can make more money always and in the future. But integrating a deep healing pattern, a deep pattern that you have is just making your life amazing from that point onwards, right? And just sets you up for real freedom, for inner freedom, and just for really more pleasure and more anything. You're enjoying your life so much more if you're not trauma bonding to anyone, if you're not thinking, which was always my limiting belief, oh, I'm not feeling comfortable with this person, it must be me, I must heal more. No, that's your intuition. It's your off feeling telling you this person isn't good for you. It doesn't mean the person isn't good. The person is the person. They're amazing, but the person is obviously not for you. That's it. No one has to be bad in this. No one has to be the victim. No one has to be the villain. We just have to really trust ourselves more when our intuition says like, yes, I want to spend time with this person, and no, and you have this off feeling in your belly super clearly. And even though I'm not a sacral in human design, I super clearly have this feeling of like this person isn't for me. That's it, right? I trust my intuition, trust my gut. And so that was just an amazing journey for me to integrate, and it took a long time, but it's worth it for everything after that, right? And I just learned appreciation and gratitude even more deeply, which for me still is super special, because when I started my journey in 2017 and also started my business, I found a few mentors like Gabby Bernstein. We have kind of like a German Gabby Bernstein in Germany. Her name is Laura Seiler, and she to me is kind of like Gabby Bernstein in the American market. And she was always saying, like, the keys to like manifestation, happiness, abundance are journaling, meditation, and gratitude, which, you know, I super understand. Yet when I heard that back then, I was like, well, great. I cannot feel gratitude. Like, I really cannot. I cannot meditate. I cannot close my eyes. I do not feel safe. And I hate journaling. Like, I literally feel resistance, and I feel tired, and I feel like acting out of alignment goes just so much quicker than journaling. Like, it just takes so much freaking time. In that time, I could visualize it, I could speak it into existence, I could do something about it, like anything but journaling. And so I was like, something must be wrong with me. Like, something's wrong with me if I can't feel the most important steps to manifestation or happiness, or, you know. And I realized in 2021, when I learned about trauma, that I was just too traumatized. My nervous system couldn't feel gratitude. That's why I didn't. And so learning, oh my gosh, like, before those steps lies trauma integration and nervous system regulation, and learning about all these things, and actually learning about my body and why my body does certain things and can feel and cannot feel certain things. Like, whoa, right? And so then the more I went on that journey of trauma integration, which again is kind of like since 2021, I just felt gratitude, and I felt proud of myself, which I never ever had before, because I was always hard on myself, just hard on myself. And as a manifestor, I manifest things quickly, and I do big things, and I do the next and the next. Like, for me, that's who we are, right? It's super easy for me to believe in huge things. Like, when you tell me what you want, like, I see it for you. I see it with you. Like, you're doing it. Of course you're doing it, right? Like, you want it. We're going for it. Like, we can do anything here in this existence. Let's do it. Let's play. And so I was never proud of myself, because for me, it was like, well, that's how we are. And it's just how it is, which is cool too, but it's not nice if it's not out of self-love, and you're never proud and you're never grateful, right? So yeah, there was definitely way too much scarcity and just being hard on myself. So yeah, the more I integrated that, I started to feel gratitude and proud of myself, and really honoring and like appreciating the things that I had or have and or have created. And this I just really have deepened in 2023. Like, you know, when I made less money than every other year, and I had expected that it would grow like always, and just appreciating each euro and each person and each transformation and each moment that I was alive and felt pleasure and was fully alive and felt even more ecstatic. And yeah, it just means everything. Like, that's it. Like, the real inner freedom, and how much I can feel, and the way I can hold myself and navigate myself, and the way I can feel myself with anyone in the room, like that is worth anything. But you can't buy that with millions. You gotta do the work. You have to learn this. And when you are like me, a recovering people pleaser, like, you can't buy yourself out of people pleasing. You literally got to do the work until you see, oh my gosh, I dare to speak my truth. Oh my gosh, I'm willing to be the villain now. If others want to see me this way, perfect, let's do it, no problem. But I'd rather be free and speak my mind and speak my truth. Like, whoa, you know. So just with every month and every year I go about this work and really embody it and really deepen it, I just become free and free and free and freer and more free. And I like manifesting things, and I think it's great, and it's a tool, and we manifest anyway, so we might as well manifest what we want. And the more I go about this journey, it also feels like I don't really need to manifest a certain thing, because I can be happy here, and I know how to be happy here, and I know what I need to do to be happy with myself. And that's just the greatest freedom of all times. So yes, that's me. So in human design, manifestor, here to innovate, here to bring the visions, here to inform, here to bridge into new paradigms and worlds, and be okay with, people coming and leaving and feeling triggered, because that's kind of like the manifestor aura, and kind of, we're here to initiate. Initiating goes through anything that reaches people. So initiation isn't always everyone says like, oh, thank you, great, now I feel initiated. No, it's anything. It's being triggered in a good way, in a bad way. So anything that really touches people where it has a ripple effect, right? So it's really cool to be okay with that role and to not take it personally. That's really amazing. And then, the 3-5, the 5 line. If you know anything about human design, the 5 line is the hero, but also the villain. So we have that there again. And then the cross of rulership, the right angle cross of rulership, is just really this. I can just feel it so deeply in myself, like this role of, saying these things that I think. And, oftentimes I think, even all the things that we're going to speak about in this podcast, I'm like, why am I the one to really want to say these things? Like, I don't really see people, especially women, speaking about conspiracy and vaccines and stuff. Like, why am I the one? Well, I just am. I just feel it. It's true to me. It just needs to be said. I feel it so clearly. It's who I am here to be. And I oftentimes think, like, why am I not just a manifestation coach and we're just talking about money? Like, why? Well, because that's who I chose to be. That's my soul's purpose. That's how I thrive. And I honestly, the more I do speak my truth and really dare to say anything I really believe or I think is possible, I just feel so free. And I do actually feel my alignment peace as a manifestor even more than, because I'm just at peace with being all of me as much as I can, obviously. And so I'm super excited for this podcast. Even recording this episode right now, and the last one, I just feeling it in my body in every moment. I'm just like, yes, let's go, people. So yes, that's most important about me. I'm very grounded most of the time. I am very much the maiden energy. I'm very, very like excited and kind of like flirtatious in my energy. It's just kind of who I am. I'm very excited easily by life because I appreciate it so much and everything that's happening. I'm very much the maiden, kind of like the maiden and the queen energy. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's rule, let's go, let's create. And then I'm also like, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I love humor, like over anything. Humor is just the best. And however, like hard a situation is, humor is the way through. Like with humor, life is just better. So we're gonna bring more of this too on TikTok and memes and funny things because I just want us to have fun. The topics are already so deep. And I think we can definitely access them with even more fun, just playing. And, I want you to laugh a lot. So I want to contribute to that as well. Yes. Yeah. And then I don't know what else about me. Like I said, I'm a singer. I'm a dancer. I love acting. So anything creatively expressing, I love it. I do it well, I would say. Very, confidently. So gonna bring that too so that you can enjoy it if you want to. And like I love, for me, I love contrast. I love mantras, but I also love hip hop of especially 2000s, right? Of the time where we were teenagers, or I was at least. Maybe you're younger or older, but that's my time. I still use it when I'm on the cross trainer. Still listening to that music and running or dancing on the cross trainer with it. I love eating healthily and having green juices and all the greens, but I also enjoy a muffin with liquid chocolate inside. So for me, it's all about, yes, of course, I'm going to give my vessel what's really good for it. But then when I see this chocolate brownie and I really want it, then of course I'm going to give it to myself. Like we're in this matrix experience ourselves. So yes, I'm going to play. I'm going to play. But I also am going to look at what feels good to me. For example, I usually don't drink alcohol. I drink cocktails like once or twice a year. There has been years in the past 9 years where I have not drunk any drop of alcohol for a whole year or 2 or 3. It just really becomes something that I don't want anymore, that I don't need, that doesn't taste so good that I want it, because I can really feel how it lowers my frequency. So I'm super aware of this, and I'm so sensitive to energy. I wouldn't say I'm hypersensitive, blah, blah, like the word, just because I don't like identifying to things. I never want to limit myself by putting myself in a box and telling you like, this is who I am. The only way I like it is with astrology and human design, just to describe in this super easy way how I am, but anything else, I'm like, I'm anything, you're anything, we're everything, all of it. Let's be all of it. Let's have fun. And, I do see it for me that I am highly sensitive to energies, but that's cool. Like, I can just work with that and eat what's good for me and only consume what's good for me. Any movie that's recommended for children who are 12 years or older, those movies I don't watch. I can't watch them, because then I'm in the energy of the movie and I let it into my field and it influences me. So just know this about myself. I'm not making it a big deal of like, telling everyone every time like, oh, I'm highly sensitive and so you have to be careful about me. No, like I am in full ownership and self-responsibility and personal power about this. So I know, and I let people know I'm not going to be able to watch this movie with you, or, I actually don't even go to movies a lot, maybe once a year. Just because that kind of energy, it's just not the best for me. So I just really am so aware of what is good for my energy and what isn't, and who I let into my energy and my space and who I don't. Like, I'm just super, like, again, energy hygiene. Like, come on, it should be a common term. So yeah, that's most important to me. Again, then I love life, and I love it with my husband and our son. And I love this about my husband, especially because he's the same way. He's super spiritual. He meditates. He goes deeply into the research of, conspiracy as well, just like I do. And he's a biochemistry major. He has his bachelor's and master's, and he just knows so much about this. He's super smart, especially in biochemistry and physics and quantum physics and everything. Like, it's just amazing what he knows. He's a 1 line in human design, a 5-1. So, we definitely are different in this way. Every time we do something new, I'm like, oh, let's just try it out. And he's like, well, let's just research for a moment, right? Like, that's 3 line and 1 line right there for you. Fun fact, our son is a manifesting generator 1-3, and my husband is a generator 5-1. So Milan has my manifestor and Matthias's generator, his 1 line and my 3 line. Yeah, I think that's kind of cute. So I wanted to share it with you. But yeah, we're actually so alike. We have the same values. And, we love a spiritual journey. We honor it. We cherish it. But we both love living and just having fun and watching Modern Family and going on adventures and playing and eating nice stuff. Like, it's just for us. We just don't ever limit ourselves, like it's not like to be spiritual, you have to be vegan, you have to do this. No, like, to be spiritual is to be you, to be free. And that's what I stand for. So yes, I think that's all I want to share right now. If you have any questions, if there's anything you would like to make me, if you would like me to make an extra episode on, just let me know in the comments and on YouTube under this episode, or you just can shoot me an Instagram, a message on Instagram at Julia Spiritual Living, and then I can record an extra episode for you around the topic, whatever it may be. But other than that, I do not plan to talk about me, as I think it's just, it'll be more helpful to go into all the topics I want to talk about. I mean, there's a few things I might, teach or tell from experience and just give you a story or two to really find yourself too in the process of, for example, self-love or healing your sexuality, or going from OCD to PCD, from control freak mother archetype to magnetizing muse. So definitely I'll share a story or two with you. But overall, I'm ready to edutain, and I just really want you to have fun in this podcast and learn and contemplate. And it's all about, for me, it's about philosophy and truth seeking, and again, building new neural pathways so that we just really see how much space there is beyond this matrix and how amazing and great this human experience can be. So I'm excited for all that's to come. If you have any requests or wishes, let me know. I'd love to have your feedback and see how I can serve you best. And I'll catch you next time if you want to. If you want to rank my podcast, you can. If you want to share it, you can. And again, if you want to give me feedback or have any wishes, I'd love to receive it. The best way is YouTube in the comment section under this episode and or Instagram message. All right. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening. I can't wait for the journey ahead, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye. That was today's episode of Unveiling Her Story, Conversations with the Goddess. I hope this episode and the whole podcast serves you. And if it does, I invite you to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or rank the podcast 5 stars on whatever platform you listen. And or subscribe, comment, or share, whatever feels right to you, so we can let all the women, all the truth seekers, tantrikas, priestesses know that this podcast is here to serve and support them as well. You can find information about current offers in the show notes. And if you have any questions, just shoot us an email to info@juliaspiritualliving.com. Connect with me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can find links and social media handles in the show notes as well. Thank you from one woman to another. I deeply appreciate you seeking pleasure in this life and rising for you, your immediate surrounding, and for this whole world that we are co-creating. I'm so looking forward to our next encounter. Yours, Julia.